Good
Hello.
morning. 2 days to go.
Is it?
It is about
3?
Oh, 3 days. Sorry,
Maybe?
yeah,
3?
3 days. Yeah, it's three
Maybe?
days. So today we think it's our podcast 9. That's what we're calling it. Then we're going to do one on the unseen.
We're fending off a lot of
Yeah,
sponsorship deals, aren't we?
yeah, we
The
are.
offers have
Yeah,
been coming
we want to
in.
teach.
Uh,
So today we're at Krogstad. The
Niels.
news. Yes. Here we go. So Mark, you've chosen this title. The title signifies a world of imprisonment and constraint. Is that what you think the title means? So let me first, are you going to do content debate with this one?
Oh yeah, why not? It's
Because
quite a hard one though, isn't it? Because the content really is the title.
title, you've got to write about title.
Maybe the content is also just the play.
Of the title. And what about the debate? What is the debate for you here?
Imprisonment and constraint.
Like, is it that or what? Freedom
Yeah,
and
or
no, it can't be that.
no, but opposites are okay. Opposites are okay in a to what extent, right?
Yeah, to what extent you put the debate. Does it mean imprisonment and constraint, or does it mean safety, security, and love?
Mm.
Who's going to say that? Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you might argue that Torvald and Papa think, it's the benevolence and the unknowingness
It's
of it.
Safety, security.
But what about Krogstad? How's Krogstad
Oh,
going
I
to come
forgot
into this
Krogstad.
answer?
Sorry, yeah,
So
Krogstad.
I deliberately went. I thought we'd start off one where he didn't seem that relevant, but maybe writing about the idea that he's imprisoned and constrained in his own way, or that Ibsen. This could just be a Nora question, but
Yes.
like looking at how other characters are constrained would make an even better argument, wouldn't it? Because it's like the world of the play.
Yeah.
It shows us that everyone is
So
imprisoned.
how would that paragraph start about Krogstad?
I don't know.
Let's do it. The actual, he's the threat to the doll's house.
The
isn't he?
constraints implied by the play's title can also be seen in minor characters such as Krogstad. Who is particularly because he is constrained by reputation, having committed the same crime as Nora. That parallel. In particular.
What about him being the threat? He is the threat that Torvald is putting her in a doll's house to protect her from. But really, the real threat is in the doll's house.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it might not be a paragraph. It might be like a sentence. It might be that you've just written an absolute, like, amazing, brilliant paragraph about Nora, and then you whack in, this problem or this situation is further, illustrated by parallel to him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's her rebellion as well as being the threat, though, isn't he? He's what she used to break the constraints of the doll's house and go to him and get bad money. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. So the reason I chose that one is that I thought
is that
it was
ours? Did we make that up?
Yes, that's from our list. But I thought like that is in a sense part of the question before, and so like if you can answer this well, you could bring it into the previous one.
So what do you call it? The content.
The content actually would be Krogstad. Well, look, in a way, the content is Krogstad, Nora, but also trapped and controlled, and the debate is the word as.
Okay, so just say that slower.
It's asking you to write about Krogstad and Nora. It's asking you to write about them being trapped and controlled, and it's asking you to debate whether it's equal.
Yes. Is he as controlled as she is?
Because you're not actually going to write neither of them are trapped and controlled.
No.
But you might write he is not, because he's, autonomously.
It's got a few more legal options. But can you tell me, and he seems a bit trapped and controlled economically because he lost Mrs. Lind.
Well, he's trapped by reputation, he's trapped by the kind of unforgiving nature of society, he can't climb
poverty.
He can't reclimb the ladder, there's no sort of social welfare helping him with his sons.
What's your answer then? Is he as trapped and controlled as Nora?
I think the dynamic between them is quite hard to write about because she has such middle class status, but it's all proxy, it's all Torvald's
My
status.
husband.
Yeah. So I think the little bits of dialogue between them are really interesting for that reason.
I like the bits of Krogstad, the bits, I think with Mrs. Lind as well, the engagement scene always coming back to where he, he lost her, and he might have been a different person if his life hadn't taken that turn. Yeah.
But when he has that little weepy sob story, I think he does sound incredibly entitled and like.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I haven't got enough
heartache. I'm on Team Krogstad.
I do. I enjoy his little happy ending.
Yeah. He gets a happy ending, and he seems such a nice guy because he does want to be her equal. He does respond to her. He doesn't want to be her puppet master and her be his little dolly.
Yeah, and he
in the
points
house.
out, doesn't he? He says, like, "Did you ever think of my children?" Like he really directly.
When he's talking to Nora. Yeah.
I like the the version that's got Trevor Eve and Juliet.
Yeah.
Juliet Stevenson.
Juliet Stevenson.
The Krogstad in that seemed quite sort of soft and kind. Like he wasn't. Yeah. There wasn't much harshness to him.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it did sort of challenge my reading of him a little bit.
His harshness is triggered by random sacking.
Yeah. And then when we find out how petty Torvald's reasons are.
Yeah. That he is going to sack. He wouldn't have been doing all
like this. Even Nora actually then does sort of feel for him, because when she reacts to when Torvald explains why he had to sack him and Nora calls it petty, that is her empathizing with her nemesis.
Yeah. So he's not gratuitously. He would have just carried on with the situation if he hadn't been about to be sacked.
I think there were, in a lot of like reading it without watching it, all the like props of these heavy boots and the big fur coat, I always think like he seems like quite an arch campy villain.
Yeah.
But then actually watching someone read it, it is just quite a complicated human.
Oh, that's beautiful. Anyway, let's go on to number next one.
Kind
and well-meaning, and this comes from Something Else is Brutal. And is this ours?
No, this
is theirs.
I think this is a real one, but it's very like ours.
Yeah.
And I think, people would know, wouldn't they, that male characters is going to require a bit of rank and Krogstad.
Especially if it's got an S on. Try and do more than one.
You've got an hour.
Yeah.
So what would you say about Krogstad for this
hang on, do the content debate. I always like that.
Male characters are content.
So you've said...
Treatment of women is content.
It's going to be...
And kind and well-meaning are debate.
Yeah, it's going to be Torvald, largely, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you're saying with a side order of...
And... I mean, should we get into rank or not?
Not very much, but I would definitely...
Rank is just a parallel and extension of Torvald for me.
A nicer one. I think so. And he does seem very kind and well-meaning. Anyway...
But perniciously sexist.
Yes.
Anyway, Krogstad. Kroggy.
And what you're saying the debate is?
Oh, yeah.
Are they kind and well-meaning? Is Torvald
He is definitely not kind and well-meaning in his treatment of her.
No.
So he is kind of a bit of a butt.
Yes. Whereas Torvald is well-meaning, if accidentally cruel.
Krogstad doesn't have the paternalistic, because he's not giving her the loan out of kindness, is he? He's trying to exploit her commercially before he exploits her.
You're not saying that
blackmail.
Capitalism pits people against each other.
I think maybe I am.
I think you are.
Capitalism alienates us from ourselves.
I
believe.
His treatment of Nora.
P. Barry says.
Yeah, his way of scrambling up the ladder.
Yeah. Krogstad is not kind and well-meaning, but it's not his fault. He is cold and exploitative, but driven by...
Yeah, partly by being sacked out of the blue, partly by...
Capitalist ladder.
And Torvald actually being promoted. He realises there's an opportunity for him with that promotion he's got something on this bank manager.
And I suppose, I don't know if this is really complicated, but he does treat Nora as an adult human.
Yes.
Even though he's not kind and well-meaning, he does treat her in a way with more respect than the people who love her.
He checks her mental health, and having established that she's not going to harm herself, he then, the tears don't stop him. Yeah, that's bad news for anyone who tries crying. Crying as a strategy. Not everyone will go with it. Yeah, that version of femininity. He doesn't. You're right. He treats her as more of a person than that.
A client, a customer.
Anyway, right. So, there's another one. Secrets and lies.
I got carried away as usual.
Always. Okay, so we're getting on for how long have we been going? Yeah, we're getting towards.
Well, let's go quick.
Quick.
Well, again, him is a source. Like he is a source of kind of secrecy and deception.
Are you going to hate me? I'm going to make you do the content debate. Yeah. Your invention. You do the content debate boxes.
Secrets and lies, content, and then the rest debate always result in.
Yeah.
Mainly always.
Yeah.
But
so find some nuanced
you could say it
exception.
results in something other than misery and hardship, because it results ultimately in her freedom and escape.
There you go. So not always. Yep. And
so just writing about him as like the sort of source of the secrecy in Nora's life, but also maybe a source of misery and hardship.
And him exploding. He's told to by Mrs. Lynn, but him exploding the secrecy and lies ends the misery and hardship.
Except it's not like it's almost like not allowed to. Like she blocks that, doesn't she? She's like, you've got to confront your husband regardless. But the second letter that that's then opened for Torvald, it ends it, doesn't it? He's happy to go back to status quo.
Let's put the next one.
But that's pretty much the same thing, isn't it?
So it looks like a Nora. You've got to write about Nora, and every paragraph has got to be.
Well, I think I was thinking about a simplistic reading of the play being that Krogstad is the one who makes her suffer. Krogstad's the bully, the blackmailer, the enemy. And so, that idea that it's either a personal or political. Yeah. Like he is a personal source of suffering, but even that is because of the repressive power of society on them both. Yeah. She had to rely on him because of laws and norms, and he has to blackmail her because of the ruthless cutthroat market.
Oh, that's a lovely. Hopefully people can pause and write that one down.
Yeah, sure. I need to put this on like 0.5 speed, the opposite of what you do podcasts, I imagine.
I would listen to them double speed. Right, is Nora simply a powerless victim? On you go, content debate it. This is our last one. Got to write about Nora, right? That's the.
Yeah, and then is powerless victim is content, isn't it? And simply, or victim is the content, and powerless and simply are the debate.
So say that. What do you mean about powerless?
Well, so you've got to write about Nora, and you've got to write about her being a victim, but you can challenge powerless and you can challenge simply.
Yes, and simply be one you'd get in other essays as well.
That's the difference between content and debate, really, isn't it? Like, what can you actually disagree with? What can you?
Yeah, and simply is another word. You might get it as only, merely, just, always is another version of simply, isn't it? So problematizing your always, onlys, nevers, everyone. Yeah. So where's your Krogstad?
So again, I was thinking, a victim of his behaviour. Yeah. And then I was thinking about that interesting power dynamic where actually she does have types of power over him, but they're sort of strained or they're secondhand. And
she's only a victim of him because she can't borrow money. Yeah. If she could have just gone to the bank and borrowed money.
Everything comes back to that lack of economic freedom question, doesn't it?
She would not have had to go to him in the first place if she could just get money herself. So, well, thank you very much, Mark. I've enjoyed that canter through Krogstad.
Yeah.
And your questions don't have to talk about him, do they? It's just if a good relevant point comes up. No,
and it's an hour. You can fit a lot in an hour.
You can. You might.
You've got to think what's relevant.
Be crystal clear that it's asking you about Nora, and maybe Krogstad comes into it.
Yeah.
Well done, everybody.
If there's actually, I was going to say, if there's actually a question that explicitly focuses on Krogstad, probably no one will do it.
Oh, yeah.
but after this, they might suddenly feel capable of it. Oh my God, 14 minutes.
Okay, so we're off. Bye-bye.
Bye.